What up, though, everybody? It's Chris Platte Rap K Podcast. This is not an episode. This is a side quest. It may look like I'm alone, but of course, as always, got my mans on the ones and twos, Big AP.
Yes, sir.
Listen, man, we had to do it. We did it last time for Chromacopia. Tyler, he doesn't like to do the traditional shit. He doesn't like to drop on Friday when we pod, and by the way the music world moves, it's old news by Friday. But Tyler dropped this Monday. Don't Tap the Glass. Actually broke the news while we recorded on Friday, and then dropped it. Dropped the album Monday. Listen to it Monday morning. So we're just gonna have a discussion. We'll have another discussion with the rest of the crew on Friday when they get in. But I just wanted to get something out there like immediately because I ran through it. It's 30 minutes, so you can run through it several times. I ran through it like 4 or 5 times today at least. So just kind of, I guess I'll kick it off with you. What was your first kind of like expectation going into the album, knowing that it's a quick turnaround from Chromacopia? He didn't do a big rollout. Like, what were you kind of expecting, even just sonic-wise or just quality-wise? What were you expecting?
Yeah, I guess just thinking like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Tyler historically has always taken quite a bit of time between his albums.
Mm-hmm.
You know, took some time to craft them. At the very least, a year, I think, between Igor. Oh no, it was 2 years between Igor and.
Yeah, I think everyone's been multiple years.
Yeah, at least
since like his early days.
So it was a little concerning because I'm like, I don't want him of all people to fall into like a half baked, too quick of releases. Basically,
right.
That can happen. We've seen it happen to a lot of people. Yeah, so I was a little worried going into it. I mean, I think that it's pretty clear he just wanted to accomplish something. It's clear he didn't think too heavily about it. He just wanted to put something out. Like, and who's to say that he can't when everybody else is allowed to? You know what I mean? And, yeah, I mean, I think it really is just, it was a quick, it wasn't really, I need to get something out there. It was, this is a collection of songs. Let me just drop this shit. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you have any idea, knowing that Tyler is always different every album, did you have any idea what it was going to be? Because I thought it was going to be West Coasty because he did, do a lot of the Kendrick stuff, showed up at the pop out, did the, what was it, Hey Now that he went over, like, so... and it was very clear that he enjoyed that album. He enjoyed what they were doing. And then I also thought, okay, well, he's been heavy around Pharrell and the Clips, and they're like, are we going to see some stuff from those two albums? And we really kind of didn't, like maybe sparingly, but like very, very like few and far between. This was his own thing. So did you think it was going to be any of those things, or did you just go, I don't know what to expect?
I mean, I was more thinking in terms of like being with Clips recently, you know what I mean? Which I think you could see some inclusion of that. I mean,
some Pharrell-ish, yeah.
And for Pusha T and No Malice were in the music video that he dropped too.
Yeah.
So they were clearly like working together. Tyler's also been on tour, so it's pretty clear that he like recorded this on the road.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I would assume. I didn't really have any inkling going for like West Coast, but I did think because Chromacopia was so much more like conceptual, I feel that he was gonna go like more into like like banger, like heavy, like like rap
Light.
type of bangers, yeah. Where that's not what we got. It's essentially a dance album, for lack of a better term, in his own style, in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have a full expectation. I didn't really know. I also didn't want to read too much into it and
right.
like whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just let it happen, so.
Yeah, I feel that. That's the part that's always going to get me listening to a Tyler album is you can think about it, but you just don't know what direction it's going to be. So yeah, I was wrong on what it is because, like you said, it's labeled a rap album, but it is essentially a dance album. Overall, I enjoyed it for what it is. Like, if I had to score it out of 10, my score would seem like it's lower than how I feel about it because I would say it's between a 3 and a 4. But I think out of 10. I think that's because like the production is great. I think that where it really lacks is like the vocals and the songwriting. And I get, you're not gonna be Black Thought on these beats or whatever, but I just if like little catchy moments would have gone a far way, and there really weren't many that stuck with me. But I enjoyed the production. It was interesting to see him go this different route, and I really just enjoyed him taking this turn, making this experiment. And I think the way I feel about this album is kind of perfectly encapsulated in the fact that my favorite song is the one right after the title track here. I'm looking it up right here. What's it called? Don't You Worry, Baby. Like, that's my favorite song. That's the song I feel like Tyler's the least involved in. Like, it's basically just a sample, some background vocals, and the production carrying it. And so that's kind of how I felt about the album. Like, I wouldn't say anywhere near it's like being bad. For example, we talk about him all the time. Boldy James is someone I probably would consistently give. I give him kind of consistently 4 out of 10 albums, but 4 out of 10 on a rating. But that's because I know I'm not really going to run this album back front to back. I know that it kind of blends in with what he's doing, and but they're all like really quality, and that's kind of how I feel about this. Like, I can't say the music's not quality. I just feel like Tyler, and it's clear he didn't overthink it, like you said. He just kind of was. This is almost like he was locked in, like you said, either on tour or whatever, and it was just a 1-2 month window where he was really just into this sound. It started with probably fucking around, and then it got to a place where he was just like, no, I want to do this as like an album, and I don't want to overthink it, and I just want to put it out there. So, I get that part of it is like you're not overthinking it, keep it simple, but
then the ranking is proportionate to that.
Yeah,
What I mean?
So I wouldn't say it's a bad. There's a lot of albums that are 3 out of 10s, that are 4 out of 10s that I like. I got moments I like, and I got songs that I'll play in my summer playlist. It's a good summer album to have just to throw in the mix. You throw 1 or 2 of these records in your playlist, and it just gives you some good variation, some good variety. So, I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. But yeah, I almost would have. Part of me would have enjoyed like if he gave this to like a pop star.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because the production is awesome.
The thing is like, we've seen like other Tyler album. Like, I could pinpoint essentially the whole vibe of this to like specific songs throughout his career. This is an album of Darling Eyes. This is an album of it's an album of Corsos. It's an album of Ratatas. Like, that's kind of like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that very upbeat, almost industrial, but like, so like the thing is like I could see that like this is one of his recurring styles that he's done, but just an entire album of it rather than it being 1 or 2 songs on an album. With that also, I mean, Tyler specifically, as we've talked about with other people too, is like, he's not traditionally the best singer, and there's a lot of times he's made it work. I don't think he always hits the mark on every song on this album. I think that especially being him and having so much care for the craft and stuff is like, there are some notes that were flat or whatever that you could have fixed in post. Yeah. And that's where I think that like a lot of, if like any lack was on this album, is I think the mixing is a little rough compared to what his usual work is.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like some of the verses were not as clear as others. Some it was a little too much going on. Like the beats, I think were mixed fine and everything. Yeah. But yeah, I think the vocal mixing lacked a little bit in some areas, and so it's like, to me, like the highlights are just where that worked the best.
Yeah. It didn't sound as good, and I'm glad you brought that up, the mixing, because that's a point that just clicked in my head. It sounded much better on great speakers than AirPods in my ears. Like, and AirPods are good quality headphones, but like it has so much more punch when it's on a speaker. So yeah, I think that kind of lends to your point. And I'm glad you brought up the stuff about like that's what I like about this too, is this does feel Tyler. Like this does, if if I didn't know who this was, or if I didn't know, like, if somebody just played this for me and I just wasn't aware that Tyler was dropping an album, I would be like, holy shit, like, is this Tyler? Is this somebody trying to sound like Tyler? Like, it has all the Tyler feels of the last few albums, and even kind of going back and sprinkling back some of the even earlier work. So yeah, I appreciate that about Tyler, that he's able to. That's a really hard thing to do, to evolve, but also kind of keep like a core identity. And I think he's done that.
I think he's done that arguably better than
Pretty much anybody.
many people. Of even, I mean, you could even date it all the way back to his early albums, which he's reinvented himself obviously since then.
Yeah.
He's really always had a very distinct identity, a sound. You can tell that it's him 100%. Yeah, if you took all the vocals off of this album, it would sound like an album of Tyler beats.
Yeah,
like,
it would.
Know what I mean?
It would sound exactly like it's Tyler, Pharrell, like that tree, like, and it would be like, but you would say it was Tyler, because it has, like you said, that industrial feel to it. He just uses these certain arrangements and he uses
Sounds
these certain
and chord
arrangements and
progressions exactly.
consistently. And so I do like that. Again, it's very hard to, like, do something different and it still have some sort of similar feeling that people can grab onto.
Yeah,
because I think if you're a Tyler fan, I don't think there's any Tyler fan that doesn't that hates this album. Because if you like Tyler, then I think you like a lot of what's in here.
Yeah,
and I think if you don't like Tyler, you probably weren't won over.
Yeah,
but at the
I don't
same,
think this is going to be the one to win you over.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think you can also, if you're being fair, you can also sit there and just be like, hey, that, like, salute to you for doing something totally different than you were doing.
But still keeping it on brand and whatever. And I mean, even though this, like, didn't really have the, the typical Tyler rollout, which is usually fucking pretty in depth and a lot going on.
He still had the little character, because I see the music video,
no matter
like
what, he always adopts a character.
Yeah.
And this was no excuse in general. Like, he did it for this one too, and that's one thing I always do love about Tyler and his. I mean, he really forms. Even on a smaller scale like this, like an identity around every album while all still being him. That's what everyone's that people are just calling it his mustache era.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's it's cool. I mean, I don't think for the rest of Tyler the Creator's career will ever be put to the wayside. I think that's always going to be a relevant factor for everything he does. It has been since day one, and you've seen him in certain, like, music videos and stuff call back to those different eras, and they're all so distinct that you could look at every era and pinpoint exactly where it was from literally album to album to album. There's not a single mark. If it was bingo, I could match each one. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I just, like, that's what I always really respected about him is his strong will, like the strong identity that he's always formed around himself, and the fact that he again, even on the smaller scale, does a good job of world building an album, a time, a frame of mind at any given moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is gonna stand out. This is a chapter in Tyler's story, and I think that's clear, and I think that's what I always say. You like about certain artists is that certain artists that do this world building stuff, when they do it, it really does make you, like, go, okay, you know what? If I don't like this album really as much as some of his other ones, like, I have that to go back to. But I kind of appreciate this moment because this feels like it leads to this, like you said, it does feel like a response to Chromacopia. Chromacopia was very conceptual, very serious, very, like, open. Like, he was, like, open with himself. He was transparent. And this one feels like, fuck all that. Like, I'm just having fun. It's interesting that he dropped it when he dropped it, because I know recently, as of the 4th of July, as the beginning of the month, he was here in Detroit, or the 3rd of July. So is he done with his tour, or is he still on tour?
That's
Like,
something
is he
I'd
wrapping
have
it
to
up?
look up.
Because
Because I don't think that this album gets an entire
no, it doesn't
tour.
get a tour.
Maybe a European leg,
Yeah.
something like that, you know?
And that could be like he could be like starting off his European leg, because I'd find it interesting to drop it like in the middle of a tour. I feel like it'd be like at some sort of either break point in the tour, or it'd just be like straight up after the tour. That would be my guess, because it kind of would be wild if you just dropped it like in between shows.
In fact, literally, it was after the last U.S. date.
Okay, but he's starting to Europe.
Tomorrow he does a couple in Canada for the next couple of days. Then goes to, not actually. Oh, he does come back to New Jersey. So he's got a couple Canada ones, and then no, he does an Australian leg actually.
Oh, okay.
So he does one in New Zealand, 2 in Melbourne, 2 in Sydney, 1 in Brisbane, and 1 in Perth. So
basically it's like the post-US part of it.
which is usually exactly.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
yeah, no, I see that 100%. And something like this, I feel like it'll be, because right now I think
especially overseas, I think that'll go over very well.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is like I just read there was a statistic that popped up. I think I lost it, but it's number 1 in like multiple countries across the
50
world right now. Yeah.
I saw on Apple Music.
On Apple Music.
I don't know about Spotify. I don't know if Spotify put theirs out.
Yeah, so I can see that 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This makes sense. It's I could see this appearing to European audiences and worldwide audiences more.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, but I think it was a really interesting conversation. I think it was a really interesting conversation creator, I should say. The album was. Where does it overall will end with this? Where does it stand to you, like in his catalog? Because again, I know you and I are both kind of looking at like you don't take it maybe as seriously as some of his other bodies of work. But that being said, are you kind of just happy it exists in the catalog? Do you feel like it's a lower tier, middle tier, or where what are your thoughts on like this in terms of like his overall greater picture? Tyler the Legend, when he's done, you know, how do you feel about it?
I would put it like, I mean, I think it probably sits somewhere around halfway through it. I don't think it's better than anything since Flower Boy.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like as bad as like say like Cherry Bomb, which was probably, I think it's general consensus, his least favorable album.
Yeah.
So I'd put it pretty much middle of the ground. Like, you know, I am happy it exists. I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's bad by any means, but it doesn't hold up to Call Me If You Get Lost or Chromacopia by any means, or Igor. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, it's funny because that actually breaks my streak of, as a years-long Tyler fan. I mean, I'm 13 years or 14 years at this point, you know? He's had this recent, I mean, in my opinion, like, as
amazing
every album has been getting better.
Yeah.
And I say that not as a new Tyler fan, I liked Call Me If You Get Lost more than Igor. I liked Chromacopia more than Call Me If You Get Lost.
Yeah.
So this does break that streak for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't inherently make it bad. I also am curious. I don't think this necessarily counts as, okay, now y'all got 2 shits, so I'm leaving for 5 years. I think that it's still going to remain on, whether it be like next year or the year after, of getting still back into the same swing of, you know, however many years between drops or whatever. I don't think this pushes that any further. I think this wasn't planned to begin with.
Yeah.
I think this just kind of happened and all fell into place, you know? Just based on the way that it was. And I mean, it's hard to, when you're on tour and shit, it's hard to make time to be able to be in the studio and stuff, but you know, he was able to do it. Clearly he was having a ton of fun doing this. So that's also, I always really respect that. Just like I said about GNX, is like anytime like an artist who's coined is like, oh, this serious I take it and you know, kind of conceptual this and that, whenever they can take a step back and have fun. It's like, I kind of like that because it feels like reliving their childhood almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just jumping around and pounding on the walls. Like,
So
I like it. I think it holds a spot. I don't think it's gonna influence his career one way or the other. In as far as popularity or push him into another category or whatever. I mean, he's also already in a very highly esteemed category of music. So, yeah, I think it's just a moment. It is what it is. I don't think it's I don't think it ranks necessarily high. It's not the worst album either, though.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think you said it pretty perfectly. I think I agree with pretty much everything you're saying, and the fact that I would probably say instead of halfway, I'd probably say lower tier. But I'd have to actually map it out. But yeah, I love the point that you brought up. I don't think this affects Tyler's kind of distance between albums. I think this just happened. I think that's an excellent point. I think I think it's just a moment that happened. Like, he got in this groove, and he did not overthink it. And I think that's just the key word. I mean, you could tell by the intro. The intro is like, "Hey, this album isn't conceptual," and then it starts playing the music and shit. And but it was dope, man. It was dope. It did bring in some West Coast stuff. You had those like synth voiceovers type, singing and shit like that. Like, you had some consistency throughout it. So like I said, I enjoyed the nuance of the production. And I just, again, I continue to applaud Tyler for doing something different. And I agree. This isn't something that I think 5 years from now, this will be like a very low talked about Tyler album, but not in a bad way. Not in like we don't want to talk. Like, honestly, never mind. Like, there is that crowd that try to like really, really push it, but for the most part, when people bring up honestly, never mind, they're like, yeah, that just wasn't it. Like, I don't think they're gonna really say that this much about this. They're just gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember he dropped that too.
Yeah.
I know.
I've seen that narrative get pushed around a little bit, and they're two completely different things because this is not the same style of music. I mean, if you want to say the overall overarching thing of it being a dance album, which it even isn't technically categorized as that, but the sound of it is. But it's like. That's like saying, okay, well, fucking Billy Woods and Young Jeezy are both rappers. Yeah. Like, they both make rap albums. I would never put them even next to each other in the same category. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think, man. I just, like I said, I really did enjoy this. I really did enjoy this little, kind of deviation from what he was doing. So. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Tyler, the Creator's new album, Don't Tap the Glass. Do you love it? Are you not feeling so great about it? Do you think it matters in the long term of his career? What do you want us to talk about next? We will be back on our normal schedule on the weekends, drop an episode. I just wanted to get out some first quick thoughts with my boy Big AP once again. Shout out to you for doing everything that you do, helping out with all of that.
Sir.
And man, I love it. I love it. This week's crazy too, by the way. Metro Boomin's dropping an album tomorrow.
Oh, right.
And then I think Joey Badass is dropping one August 1st, which is like a Wednesday or a Thursday or something like that. That's not a Friday. Like, a lot of people are starting to kind of shoo away the traditional Friday release day, which Tyler obviously did with Chromacopia.
Yeah, but he was, I believe, in like his Nardwuar interview or something from a couple years ago. He said that he was wishing that hip hop does stray away from the Friday release, which I do understand his perspective on it, and it being that on like a Friday, people are usually pretty preoccupied on the weekends, and even if you do get a chance to listen to it, it's either in passing at an event or whatever, and not as many people have as much time to sit on a first listen and really take it in. Where on Monday morning, when you're working,
although he tweeted, "You should not be listening to this album at your desk. You should be dancing." I felt attacked,
which is like the opposite of it, of course. But yeah, 100%.
So this is the one he should have dropped on a Friday. But yeah, I'm excited, man. We got a lot of great music coming up, and we'll be talking more about this. So stay tuned right here on the Rap Cave podcast. Again, I'm Chris Platte, a.k.a. Platte Pods. with my boy Big AP on the ones and twos. And once again, guys, please like, comment, share, subscribe. We're trying to give you a whole bunch of dope new content, and we will be doing that. So stay tuned.